from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A pleasant evening and a very warm welcome to the National News broadcast. We are coming to you live from the National News Studio. I'm Dilanjali Ananda.
And I am Dishan Veerakun, and first up, let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
The price of gas remain unchanged. The President says that the government is not ready to follow the guidance of other parties except the Parliament in the debt optimization program. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says the relevant officials should accept the responsibility of not informing the farmers regarding the drought situation. The elephant Chandi loses its native place for the fourth time. The Thalaimanna Pier will be renovated after 37 years. ISIS leader was killed by an attack in Syria. The Little Hearts project has received 1.8 million rupees during the first 3 days of the LPL tournament.
Now for those and other stories in detail, and we begin with local news. Chairman of the Litro Gas Company, Mudita Piri, says that prices of domestic LP gas will not be increased, although the price has increased at the world market.
Now, he made these remarks at a press briefing held in Colombo today. Chairman of the Litro Gas Company, Mudita Piri, said that the price of LP gas has increased by $85 per metric ton at the world market today. According to the price formula, the company should increase the price of a domestic cylinder by 470 rupees. However, the Litro Gas Company has decided not to increase the price at this moment. The price of LP gas decreased last month up to $380 per metric ton. At that time, the company wisely decided to purchase a stock of over 8,000 metric tons. Therefore, the company is able to absorb the price increase and supply them at lower rates to Litro gas consumers.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe stresses that the government is not ready to follow the advices or orders from any other party other than the Parliament in the debt optimization program. The President said that he will never allow the conventional politics to take the country towards anarchy, and he will achieve the responsibility he accepted to rebuild the country. The President made these remarks at the 29th Annual Convention of the Coconut Cultivators Association held today at the Sri Lanka Foundation Institute.
With the Ministry of Economic Viability restricts essential
President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the Parliament has the powers for government's financial control. This program has been approved by the Parliament. Under the 4th clause of the Constitution, the judiciary powers of the people has also been vested with the Parliament. The Parliament entertains all the powers vested with it. The government enforces only the laws prepared by the Parliament. Therefore, the government cannot follow guidance or orders given by outsiders. At this juncture, all smaller parties and major parties should collectively work to steer the country forward. The country was ruined due to the conventional old political systems. The government will not allow such elements to ruin the country. Now we are advancing towards development. In this endeavour, the President will work collectively with the Parliament. The government only accountable for the Parliament in the debt restructuring process. This matter is to be presented to the Parliament by next week. Before that, all relevant parties should be aware of this matter and must go for the debt restructuring process with new thinking.
අපි දියුණුවට යන්නේ. ඒ වගකීම මම බාරගත්තා. ඒ වගකීම මම ඉෂ්ට කරනවා. ඒ වැඩ කටයුතු වලදී මම පාර්ලිමේන්තුව සමග වැඩ කටයුතු කරනවා කියලා කියනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ ණය ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගත කිරීමේදී අපි වග කියන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට විතරයි. ඒ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව යටතේ ක්‍රියා කරනවා. මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ අපි පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ නම් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන එන සතියේ ඒත් ඊට ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම මේ කාරණේ කිව්වේ අපි ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙලා මේ රටේ විශේෂයෙන්ම ණය ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගත කළා අලුත් ව්‍යාපාරයකට යන්න ඕනේ.
Sri Lanka had recorded highest production in last year, it's 2022. As per the statistics of the Coconut Research Institute, we have produced 3.2 billion nuts last year, as against 3 billion in 2021. Not only that, we produced the highest number of nuts last year, but coconut sector, coconut related exports had recorded highest export income from coconut related exports in 2021. That is, as you also mentioned, it's $836 million US. It came down to 817 million in 2022, but it might come further down in 2023. Our estimate is that we might get around $700 million US income from the coconut sector, partly because of the fact that our export orders have come down, not only in coconut sector, but also in tea, apparel, cinnamon and also other exports. We will initiate a new coconut triangle in the country covering northern province connecting Jaffna, Mana and Mullaitivu. So we try to promote coconut cultivation in that part of the country. We will plant in month of September nearly 2 million plants in that province. And also I must also highlight the fact that last year we produced 6 million seedlings in the country. That was the highest ever number that we produced in the recent past.
82% of the coconut cultivators in the country are below 20 acres of cultivations. There are 1.1 million acres of coconut cultivations in the island. It was stressed the need to merge the Coconut Research Institute with the Agriculture University. Chairman of the Coconut Cultivators Association, Jayantha Samarakon, Secretary Shakila Vijayawardena and a large number of members were present at this occasion. Now, Minister Mahinda Amaravira says that all relevant parties should accept the responsibility of failure to make the farming community aware of the prevailing drought situation during the Yala season.
Now, the minister said this participating in a seminar held in Kandy recently. This meeting has been organized by the Sri Lankan Office of the UN Food and Agriculture Organization. Aim of this meeting was to inform intellectuals regarding the measures taken to enhance the country's agriculture during the years 2022 and 2023. Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture Gunadasa Samarasinghe and a group of top officials of the ministry were present at this meeting. Minister Mahinda Amaravira said that even though the ministry provides the required information knowledge to farming leaders, they do not relay the information to farmers. The farmers have been instructed to start other crops rather than paddy. However, that message was not also relayed to farmers properly. Even the meteorological department has not relayed the weather situation in an effective manner. Mineri Irrigation Engineer's Office requests the farming community to use water of Mineria and Giritali tanks sparingly during the prevailing dry weather season. 3 more rounds of water have to be released for the paddy cultivations in these areas. Therefore, Mineri Irrigation Engineer Asela Udayanga informs the farmers to use water sparingly and with proper management for their cultivations. Meanwhile, a group of farmers engaged in a protest in front of the Ambilipitia bus stand this morning, demanding the release of water from Samnala Vava reservoir for their cultivations. Meanwhile, farmers complain that about 100 acres of paddy cultivations on the verge of deterioration at the Konkati area in Buttala due to dry weather. They point out that they have to give up their paddy cultivations as all small tanks in the area are being dried up at present.
Now, 5 members of the same family have died by a road accident occurred at Area Gama along the Kurunagala Anuradhapura main road. It is reported that 8 persons were in the motor car at the time of the accident. The accident occurred when a lorry bound to Anuradhapura attempted to stop near a shop. At the time, the speeding motor car knocked behind the lorry. All the 8 passengers in the motor car were injured and they were soon taken to hospitals. There are 3 males and 2 females among the dead. According to the police, the severely injured person is receiving treatment at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. Another 2 are undergoing treatment at the Tambuttegama Base Hospital. The victims are residents of Kahatagazdingilia area. Meanwhile, 2 persons have died in a road accident occurred yesterday at Rilhena area in Palmadulla along the Colombo-Badulla main road. The victims were in the 3-wheeler was knocked on a small lorry. Palmadulla police has arrested the driver of the lorry.
State Minister Dr. Ranjit Siambalapitiya says that import restrictions of 300 more items will be eased in September. Now, he revealed these facts at a ceremony held in Yatiyantote area today to deploy 2 new SLTB buses to service. Avisavela SLTB depot has deployed these 2 buses to run between Yatiyantote to Polpitia and Yatiyantote to Palampitiya. State Minister Dr. Ranjit Singh Balapitiya said that the government expects to ease the import restrictions for 300 more items. For this purpose, relevant discussions between the Ministry of Finance and other relevant ministries have already been started. The final decision will be taken following the discussions with the research unit of the Central Bank.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that although it has been proposed to remove a large number of government employees, the government did not do so. The Prime Minister made this remark participating in a program held at the Munaragala District Secretariat yesterday. National Integration Participatory Development Program titled New Village, New Country was held there under the patronage of Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. The Prime Minister added that he held discussions with the Surveyor General to provide concessions to farming community without changing the law relating to lands. Mahasangha Governor of the Yuva Province, A.J.A. Muzammil, public representatives of the state officials were present at this occasion. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that the crisis hit Sri Lanka has raised its head again within a very short period. Leaders of many foreign countries say that they are proud of Sri Lanka's resurrection. The government is proud of the Sri Lankan farmers that they have discussed their problems and started cultivations to provide better harvest. If the country worked collectively with all parties, including the farmers, the food crisis can be resolved within a very short period. The government should mediate to have better price for paddy, maize and other crops. The relief given to low-income families should not be stopped. The government's aim is to increase the allowances given to low-income groups. Meanwhile, Ratugala Adivasi chieftain Sudha Vanila Atto met the Prime Minister. He said that he expects to meet the Prime Minister again with all chieftains of Adivasi colonies to discuss their problems. Now, the single tusker titled Chandi that usually roams in a Galagamu area is to be shifted to another area again.
Now, the Wildlife Department has started a mission at present to capture the elephant. It is significant that this elephant has been taken to other areas on 3 occasions earlier. The animal has returned to Galgamu area again. This single tusker usually lives in Galgamu, Siambalagamu, Megalava and Ahatuvawa areas. The elephant has used to drink illegal booze hidden in the area. The Wildlife Department is getting ready to take the elephant to another area for the 4th time this occasion. The elephant was shifted to Somavati Forest Reserve area in 2009. Later, after 28 days, the elephant again came back to Ahatuvawa area. In 2015 and 2018, the elephant was taken to Elephant Detention Center in Horopatana. However, the elephant had come back to the Galgamu area along the railway track. Now, the mission to capture the elephant will begin tomorrow. The wildlife officials have decided to take the elephant to Maduroya National Park this time. The officials said that there are ample amount of food for the elephant in the Maduroya area. However, the environmental organizations point out the need to monitor the movement of the elephant using GPS technology.
Now, the second phase of the national action titled Dengue to prevent spread of dengue mosquitoes commenced throughout the Gampaha district today. Sri Dharma Loka Central College in Kalaniya and Kalaniya Rajamahawihara also joined the program. It is being jointly implemented by the National Television and Morting Company. The second phase of the National Action Plan to prevent spread of dengue mosquitoes started today at the Kalaniya area. The Kalaniya Rajamahawihara premises is visited by thousands of persons daily from various areas in the island. If dengue mosquitoes are rampant in such a popular area, people who visit the place will be infected with dengue microbes. Therefore, the national television, with the help of Martin Company, conducts public awareness programs, especially for school children, to educate them on how to eliminate dengue mosquitoes from their premises. All citizens should help to make this social service a success.
Meanwhile, the party leaders have been informed in writing to present their proposals and views with regard to the 13th Amendment of the Constitution. Now, the President's Secretary has made this announcement under the guidance of the President. These proposals and views should be submitted before the 15th of this month. These views are obtained under the agreements reached at the all-party conference held on the 26th of last month.
The Talai Mannar Pier will be renovated after 37 years. During the past war period, the pier was severely destroyed. The Ministry of Ports, Naval and Aviation Services say that the jetty will be used to provide facilities for passenger vessels. Sri Lanka Ports Authority has planned to renovate the jetty under the guidance of Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva. A sum of 1,800 million rupees has been estimated for renovation work. Under the first phase of renovation, infrastructure facilities in the Talai Mannar harbour will be developed. An area of 10 acres from the adjacent Crown lands will be acquired for this purpose. Under the development program, modern passenger terminal, storage complex and other infrastructure facilities will be established. The ministry says that interest of local and foreign investors will be called up under state-private partnership. There was a ferry service from Talai Mannar Pier to Dhanushkodi in India in the past. It has been reported that the Indian government has granted approval to commence a passenger ferry service between Rameshwaram harbour and Talai Mannar. Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva engaged in an observation visit at the Talai Mannar Pier today. Later, the minister had discussions with various parties regarding the prevailing problems in this area. Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva said that the government expects to provide opportunity for Sri Lankan citizens to visit India at a lower cost. It also expects to attract more Indian tourists to Sri Lanka through this ferry service. This will also be helpful to accelerate development in the northern province.
Now, Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says that 400 nano water purifying centres will be constructed in the northern and eastern provinces. Now, he said so joining a function held yesterday to declare open several nano water purifying centres constructed in several places in the Mullaitivu district. These centres are constructed under the government's concept of providing safe drinking water to all. These nano water purifying centres have been constructed in the villages where the displaced families have been resettled. Accordingly, 4 centres have been set up in the Mullaitivu district and 23 centres in the Kilinochchi and Vavuniya districts. The government has spent a sum of 205 million rupees for these centres. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said that 15 nanotechnology water purifying centres have been set up in the northern and eastern provinces at present. The government is also committed to provide houses for each family and those who have no houses of their own. The President has also started discussions on decentralizing the powers.
Now, Dr. Jayasundara Bandara says that by directing persons of 35 years of age to a proper medical examination, they can be verified whether they are vulnerable to non-contagious diseases in future. He made these remarks joining a press briefing held at the Government Information Department today to introduce the new program to empower the primary health services system in the island. Director of the World Bank Project to Empowering Primary Health Services System of the Health Ministry, Dr. Jayasundara Bandara, said that Sri Lanka's Human Capital Index is still below 60%. This index in the countries like Singapore and Korea is over 95%, nearing the 100% target. That means the human population in these countries fully contribute to the national economy of the countries in a fruitful manner. The World Bank has granted assistance to the Health Ministry in 2019 to empower the primary health services system. Under this project, each hospital, with the help of Suva Seva Mitro community organization, checks the persons of 35 years living in the vicinity whether they are vulnerable to non-communicable diseases. Through such medical checks, the risk factors for such diseases can be properly identified. Under this project, about 1.3 million persons at 35 years of age are properly checked as of now. If the risk factors for such diseases are identified in advance, they can prevent themselves from getting strokes, heart attacks and such other ailments. If the human capital index can be increased over 90%, the country can be made a developed country by 2048.
ඔහුට පොඩ්ඩක්වත් අඩු නැතුව ඔහුගේ ආර්ථික ක්‍රියාවලිය තුළ ඔහුගේ වෘත්තීය ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමේ කිසිම ගැටලුවක් නැතුව ඉන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒ අනුව තමයි අපිට කවදා හරි දවසකදී ලංකාවේ මානව ප්‍රාග්ධන දර්ශකය 90% ඉක්මවා යන විදිහට ගෙනිච්චොත් 2048 දී සංවර්ධිත රාජ්‍යයක් කියන සිහිනයක් වෙන එකක් නැහැ.
Now, the Attorney General informed the Supreme Court today that the local debt optimization process is now at the final stage and the judiciary cannot intervene in this matter as it is a matter related to the legislature. Appearing for the Attorney General, Additional Solicitor General Viraj Dayaratne stated these facts when the fundamental rights petition filed by the members of the EPF was summoned for consideration today. The Additional Solicitor General, raising preliminary objections, said that the petition should be dismissed as the courts have no power to mediate to a matter related to the Parliament and the government's monetary affairs. The opinion of the Supreme Court with regard to the legality of a bill regarding the defamation to courts or a tribunal will be directed to the Speaker. It was announced today when a petition challenging the relevant bill was considered at the Supreme Court today. It was considered by the three-member panel of judges including Murudu Fernando, Shiran Gunratne and Achala Vengapulli.
We'll be back with international news after this break.
People's Digital வங்கி வசதி இருக்கிறதால விரைவாகவே எத்தரைசர கணக்கொண்டு திறந்துட்டேன்.
மக்கள் வங்கியின் எத்தரைசர PFC கணக்கொண்டை ஆரம்பிக்க விரும்பும் நீங்கள் உலகின் எப்பாகத்திருந்தாலும் நாம் உங்கள் அருகிலேயே வருவோம்.
Welcome back. Now taking a look at your foreign news for tonight. Now the ISIS group has confirmed the death of its leader Abu Hussein al-Husseini al-Qurashi and named Abu Hafs al-Hashimi al-Qurashi as his replacement. The group said yesterday that its leader had been killed in direct clashes with the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham group in Idlib province in rebel-held northern western Syria. The announcement was made by an ISIL spokesman in a recorded message on its channels on the Telegram messaging app without specifying when he was killed. Turkey's president said in April that Turkish intelligence forces had killed the leader in Syria. The group's first leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was killed also in Idlib in October 2019.
Now, scientists have found a naturally occurring strain of bacteria which can help stop the transmission of malaria from mosquitoes to humans. They found it by chance after a colony of mosquitoes in one experiment did not develop the malaria parasite. The researchers say the bacteria could be a new tool for fighting one of the world's oldest diseases, which kills 600,000 people every year. Scientists at a research facility in Spain run by a pharmaceutical company made the discovery after noticing that a colony of mosquitoes being used for drug development had stopped carrying malaria. The bacteria walks by secreting the small molecule known as harmine, which inhibits the early stages of malaria parasite growing in the mosquitoes.
Now, the oceans have hit their hottest ever recorded temperature as they soak up warmth from climate change, with dire implications for our planet's health. Now, the average daily global sea surface temperature beat a 2016 record this week according to the EU's climate change service Copernicus. It reached 20.96 degrees Celsius. That's far above the average for this time of the year. Oceans are a vital climate regulator. They soak up heat, produce half Earth's oxygen and drive weather patterns. Hotter oceans and heat waves disturb marine species like fish and whales as they move in search of cooler waters, upsetting the food chain. Now, experts warn that fish stocks could be affected. Some predatory animals, including sharks, can become aggressive as they get confused in hotter temperatures.
Now, Sri Lanka Cricket announces that a sum of 1.8 million rupees has been accumulated for the Little Hearts project of the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital within the first 3 days of the LPL cricket tournament.
5 matches of the LPL cricket tournament have already been completed after 2 days interval. The LPL cricket matches commenced at the Pallekele International Cricket Stadium.
The toss, and that was won.
The first match was played between Dambulla Ora and B Love Kandy teams. Batted first, Dambulla Ora players scored 156 runs for the loss of 6 wickets. In reply, B Love Kandy passed the victory target in 18.3 overs for the loss of 3 wickets.
And that's all the news we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow at the same time for the very latest on Channel Eye. I'm Delanjali, together with Dishan, signing off. Good night.
Good night.